Hello, hello. It is Alicia with Life on the Light Side, and it's mighty dark out, and it's 10 o'clock at night. Doesn't feel very much like life on the light side, but it's Monday, and we haven't had our life on the light side in a few days. So I decided it was really important to do life on the light side today. If this is your first time watching us, possibly because you saw me pop on at 10 o'clock at night, which is like totally unusual for our 4 o'clock in the afternoon visit, right? Well, I have to tell you about it. We got so much to talk about today about the light side, being on the light side, staying on the light side, etc. Again, if this is your first time, we're all about no matter what is going on in our world, striving to stay on the light side. The light side's the light of truth and wisdom, despite anything we see going on in the world. Okay. We do life on the light side every day, which was 4 o'clock in the afternoon, but since camping season has started at Grand View, where I work with my sister and her husband, um, 4 o'clock ain't happening, I'll tell you. 4 o'clock today, I was in a reservation, more reservations coming in. Thought it was going to be a quiet day. I said to my sister today, we're going to go home early today. But boy, it wasn't. And of course, we're grateful for the business. So, anyway, that's why I'm not here till 10 o'clock. And I could have skipped it until tomorrow, but I couldn't. No, I couldn't for a couple of reasons. Number one, many of you have told me how much you need this to stay light in moments of seeming darkness. And you need to know that I need to be able to be here for you because it helps me deal with the darkness, dark energies that we live in day to day in our world. Stuff happens. And so I had some stuff going on. It didn't have anything to do with when I did, life on the light side. I was totally busy earlier. But anyway, I digress. So I'm going to go back to where we were. And I want to start with the National Day calendar. There was a bunch of things on it today, but I picked the ones that I felt were most compelling for today, right? And I hope to help you understand the reasons why and how and what we're dealing with. All right. First of all, today, believe it or not, is wear two different colored shoes day. How could you do that? The point is to show your uniqueness and also to measure what goes on inside of you when you don't seem to be normal. Everyone wants to be normal, but nobody wants to be average, right? We all want to be above average, and that's okay because we are all born unique. Um, so we have to be comfortable with that and stop trying to be better than you can't be better than everybody and everything. It'd be no fun in life that way. So the wear the two different colored shoes. Now, I've had that happen with a friend of mine, except they weren't two different color shoes. They were two different types of shoes. A friend of mine, when we were in high school, we were going to New York City on the train. And we were so excited. And we got on the train. We were like 17, 18 years old. I don't even know if I'd let a kid 17, 18 years old get on a train to New York today, but especially at night. So we're on the train going to New York, and I was with my good buddy Marie, and Marie and I looked very much like Mutt and Jeff. She was like 5'7", and I'm 4'10". So we look like we used to call ourselves Mutt and Jeff. And Marie was stunningly beautiful. She had or has, I haven't seen her in years. Oh, how I wish I could find her. Blazing red hair, natural. It's the way she was born, with great big blue eyes. And me, I was like little brown hair, brown eyes, kind of plain. Well, we've gotten our little purple hair thing going on. That helps. But in any event, so we're on the train and we're feeling like such grown up ladies. And Marie looks down and she has on one suede shoe and one patent leather shoe. Big difference. They were both black, which helped. But oh, what a laugh that gave us. I sure wish I could find that girl. You know, girls get married and change their last name, and then they disappear into wherever, getting a lot harder to find, especially if they marry a second time and you didn't know the second guy's name, So Marie Nichols Steinberg, whoever else you might have become over the years, if this finds you in any way, get to me, reveille at AOL.com, Alicia Leslie on Facebook and in my books. Anyway, we're digressing again, but I think one of my most wonderful and endearing characteristics is my ability to digress. That I do. Getting to point A to point B. Who would want to make it a straight journey? Come with me on my journey from point A to point B, which circles around and goes up and down and backwards, just like a crazy roller coaster. So I got to share one other. It's not shoes. It's not a different colored shoes story. It's a different colored sock story. And for those I've already shared this story with, I ask your understanding and patience because I think this story, I need to tell it. Okay. Because it's about someone very special in my life. And he always wore two different color socks. And I thought it was a guy laundry basket thing, like, when you take whatever's clean. But one day, this was my friend Rick, and Rick was a wonderful young man at the church I served in Virginia. And he was also our sound manager, and he gave the best hugs. Well, Rick always wore two different color socks, and it wasn't a laundry basket thing, it was a plotted thing. He had some first of all, you have to understand, Rick was an extremely gentle soul. And he gave the best hugs, and he was sweet and loved everybody. But he wore those two different color socks because he had some very strong political opinions. So if someone said to him, "Why are you wearing two different color socks?" he'd tell them. Oh, he wouldn't bring up the subject of politics, but if somebody asked about those socks, they got it. Unfortunately, my dear friend and congregation member Rick was killed in a robbery, um, at the gas station he worked at. So I still, if I ever think about wearing two different color socks, actually, another two different color sock story. Because of Rick and the love he had and the love he shared, I bought two pairs of socks, one red and one green. And I gave my daughter, who lives far away, I gave her, well, I actually brought them. She was in Colorado at the time. And I brought the pairs when I went to visit her for Thanksgiving one year. And we had such a good visit. And I gave her one green sock and one red sock. And I kept one green sock and one red sock, which I have to this day. And that was years ago. And whenever I want to feel close to my daughter, I put on my one green sock and one red sock. And it's funny how many stories can go around about socks, because that took me to another divergence off that path. And that was because I got the socks because of Rick and because my daughter once got me some socks for Christmas. And at that time, I was going through a lot of stress, a lot of stress. And I found that every time I wore those soft, warm socks that she gave me, I would be comforted. Do you have any sock stories? I'd love to hear them. Don't be afraid to share them. By the way, I have been on with these glasses, haven't I? Since I got my new glasses, new look. I remember Cheryl saying she liked them. Okay, well, that was number one, and we're a third of our time together. I got to do better. Okay, everybody, let's try Alicia. Focus. This is another reason why I needed to be on to talk to you before midnight today. Because today is Melanoma Monday. I know, doesn't sound like a celebration of any kind or a light side thing. In fact, melanoma sounds like something pretty dark. But what I want to share with you is one day I was working at the campground and a gentleman came up to me and he said, What is, where is it? Must be farther down. Oh my God, where'd it go? Oh, is that it? There. See that? He said, What is that? He said, I would go to a dermatologist and get that checked out because you never know. It could be cancer. And I know I happen to have, I'm like 76 this year. Pretty soon. I got another month or two to go. But I hate to tell you this. If you're younger, when you get older, you get all these kind of skin things going on. But I said, all right, if he said I should go to get the dermatologist, I think it's time. So I made an appointment for the dermatologist and I got a full skin scan. And this was nothing. It's a getting old spot. However, they found a skin cancer over here. Oh, yeah. And they took it out and they took care of it, and I got it checked out, and it's fine. But that one wasn't even strange looking to me. This one kind of strange. That one, not so much. Please, please go to a dermatologist and get a full body scan. It all they do is look at you with like a little, magnifying glass. It was fortunate that the type of skin cancer I had was basal, I don't know, which means they wasn't melanoma. But if you leave something to fester long enough, heaven only knows what could happen, okay? So I want you to stay on the light side. We think that going to a dermatologist or a dentist or whatever, we think that's on the dark side. We're scared. We don't want to go. We're in fear. I got to tell you, go, go, get looked at because when you come out, you are on the light side, even if they've got something they need to look at. And I know this is all human stuff. I mean, let's look at the reality. We're eternal beings. You know, we have eternal life. Uh, we're all made of energy, and energy never changes, never dies. It just changes form. So here's a note. I like the form I'm in, and I like my life. And as much as I want to see the folks that have moved on to their next experience, a lot of living and loving to do here on planet Earth for a while. Anyway, okay. It is Garden Meditation Day, which means if you've got something stressing you out, go on out into a garden. Absorb nature, let nature fill you and feed you, and listen to the sounds of the birds and look at the creatures. And who knows, maybe you can find a four-leaf clover. It's a beautiful thing to do. Not in Connecticut today, it was kind of rainy, just saying. Okay, this is another special needs day. It is today, or special day. It is special special abled pets day. Special what is it? Special abled pets day is when we look at the pets, either our own pets who have developed ailments, special things, or pets that we got that way, and how to love and take care of them. Tish, you know Tishy, she's sleeping right now. She was a rescue cat, and some people probably turned her down because she has a chronic weeping eye. Her little eye, they said there's nothing I've tagged her to the vet. There's nothing you can do about it. It's just this little weepy eye. But it turned some people off. Great, because that way she was there for when I wanted her. Now, as you know, now she has kidney disease, and she's getting up there in years, and she needs to be, I don't know what they call it. We need to put fluids under her skin every couple days. And I'm so grateful to my sister Valerie, who will do that for me, because on my own, I don't know that I could do it. She does it. I hold the cat and I watch the bag and the drip and everything. Who'd have known that at this age, this time in my life? But that's how I have to take care of my cat. Would there have been a better way? Sure, I could have had her put down, but I couldn't have had her put down. She's my friend. And actually, I pray, I say, Dear God, don't ever let it be the case where I've got to make that decision. And I tell her, Tishy, don't ever make me make that decision. I don't know what God's got in charge. But I will tell you this. I do my best to take care of her in the best and logical way that I can while she's with me. She takes extra care, and she's worth it. Now, we in my family, just about everybody gets rescue pets. Um, my my sister rescues cats. Well, they rescue themselves. They show up if she used to put out have a heart traps. And if there was a what do you call that word? A cat that just roams around. It's got a word and I can't think of it right this second. But she'd catch the cat and she'd take it she'd take it to the bus. And the bus was a bus where they fixed them. And after they fix the cat, and it's really important to fix male cats because they can produce so many kittens that don't have homes and wind up to be coyote food or God knows what. And then after they fix the cat, they snip a little teeny piece of its ear off. So, I'm done. I'm done. I don't have to go back to the bus. But she rescued cats. And a lot of them decide they want to come live with her after. uh, my, all my children have rescued pets. And I was going to tell, my granddaughter Rachel rescued a three-legged cat. But I'm going to tell you something. That three-legged cat can terrorize you if she so desires. Eco is her name. My son and her father, my son and my daughter-in-law April, they rescued dogs. And the dog rescue they have most recently, the dog's name is T, and T had they went and they rescued it, and well, they went to the pet shelter and they adopted it, and they got it back, and it was so traumatized and damaged. Uh, they had to spend $800 immediately after adopting it to get it straightened out. It had been a very abused dog. And T is a very good and fine dog and blesses their lives. So when you get a pet, oh my God, it lightens our lives up so much. And yes, they can be trouble. And yes, they can be annoying. And they can be the best friends ever because dogs and cats know the meaning of unconditional love. Okay. It is Paranormal Day. Now, a lot of people don't want to know about the paranormal. Now, para means beside or beyond the normal. And some religions consider the paranormal taboo. You don't touch it, you don't do anything with it. I think that, like everything, there's light sides and dark sides. And even in the paranormal, we want to stay on the light side. What does staying on the light side with the paranormal mean? It means look for the good, look for the lessons. Metaphysics would be considered by some paranormal because it's beyond what the average everyday person sees or thinks. But how could we be a Christian and say Jesus rose from the dead and not accept the possibility of paranormal, beyond normal activity? And in the realm of paranormal is miracles. We used to have a great song that was sung all the time in the Unity churches I attended, and it's called I'm Ready for a Miracle. And it went something like, I'm ready for a miracle, I'm ready for a miracle, I'm ready for a miracle today. Ooh, bad singing. I do accept a miracle, I do accept a miracle. I do accept a miracle today. Oh, it goes on and on, but I'm not going to subject you to my singing. But it says that my mind and heart are open to receive something greater than normal, greater than what is the expected. But my friends, we'll never be able to live on the light side if we don't expect a miracle. If we don't expect something good and wonderful can happen despite the appearances. Another thing that it is today that I don't know much about, didn't have much of a chance to look into it, but it is San Architect Day. And that is the people in the IT, which is in intelligence, technology, and they protect our accounts, they protect our government, our security, and that is a huge, huge field. They're the ones that find out before we even knew there was a problem. Okay. We have to remember they're there today, especially in these times of scammers and challenges. And so we want to thank them for being there. All right. So now that I've gone through all this wonderful light side stuff, the other reason that I wanted to make sure I did today's video is because I had a very challenging 24 hours. Yesterday morning, my daughter called me and she was in excruciating pain in her ankle, and she said, I think I chipped a bone. I think I chipped a bone. And I think, oh God. I said, go to the doctor. And she said, I can't go today. I can't go today. I'm gonna wait till tomorrow because tomorrow the copay is cheaper. $20, That's what I want to point out to you. Pain is your body's way of telling you it's in trouble. Okay. If you have several things going on in your body's saying, hello, hello, you know I'm here. And a lot of us just put it off. We go later, tomorrow, whatever, it's too expensive, blah, 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 blah. Well, she's got other things going on, physiologically, but this thing with her ankle. And I thought, well, I said, go to the doctor. And she's, I'm gonna go tomorrow. Well, I never heard from her again last night. So it was from, I think she called me at 10:30 in the morning, had a couple of quick exchanges with her on the internet, and I did not hear from her. I did not hear from her until 7:30 tonight. Hey, I don't care if she's 48. And I don't care which one of my kids it is, because I feel the same way about all of them. And my sisters and brothers and friends and everybody I love. It's just the way I am. That's what happens when you're what's called an empath. So I was in, you went through the why aren't you answering my calls to the pick up the phone with the exclamation points to say, you better, you better message me right now. Yes, and I'm not going to lie. In between, I was praying. I was saying, God's in charge. Putting, I place my daughter and all her affairs lovingly in the hands of Father with a childlike trust, knowing God is in charge. God's will for us is good and only good, and God's will is done. Well, I went through that, and then I'd go back into worrying, and then I'd go back, and then I'd go back into worrying. And I gotta be real honest with you. And of course, then you get mad at yourself. You say, I should know better. I should know better. I'm a unity minister. I know spiritual principle, but also there are just those times. And this is what I call chain thinking. Okay. One thought leads to another thought, leads to another thought, leads to another thought. And the chain, you remember the movie Christmas Carol? When Marley had all his chains, and it's like that. So every fear you ever had about anything that ever happened with that person, with another person, with a previous experience, all comes in. And it's very hard to shake it off. Now, one of the best things you can do at those times is find someone to support you. First of all, I messaged, I sent a prayer request to Silent Unity. Don't forget how important that is. And I kept busy and I kept trying to, every time the thought would come up, what's wrong with her? Oh my God, what could have happened? Put it off, put it off. And then, I'm very grateful that St. Francis de Sales said, even if I were to place my heart back on the altar in my prayer time 100 times, it still would be worth the prayer time. So even though we're worrying, we're having issues, we have to keep getting back to the light side, and then we'll get pulled back. And if we get caught up in that chain thought that one thing leads to another, pulling you down, just keep putting foot in front of the other. Keep going. And I strongly recommend you need to find someone you can talk to who's not going to try to fix it for you. Because what has to be fixed is where we're letting our mind go. And nobody can do that but ourselves. So I'm very happy to say that my daughter finally called me. And what happened is she did go to the ER because when she went through the course of the day, her ankle got to be the size of a cantaloupe and had all little pink streaky things and everything running down. It was horrible. And she went to the hospital and they told her, you're not going to believe this. She had gout. She has gout. And it can strike one or both ankles at any time. So they gave her some medicine and they told her, stay off your feet for 24 hours. Well, the medicine they gave her knocked her out. And she called me as soon as she saw my hysterical messages and texts. She called me to tell me she's okay, what had happened, and life goes on. I needed to share that with you because think about this. I've been studying spiritual principles, spirituality, the importance of thinking positive, that fear is only false evidence appearing real. You know what? It can happen to anybody. So don't come down on yourself if you get caught up in fear and doubt and dread, but keep moving, keep fighting the fight, throwing off the negative thoughts, and find someone you can talk to who will just listen and maybe give you a good word here and there. Golly, I didn't get to where I intended to go. We had a lot of little side trips. I'm hoping maybe one of those side trips is just what you needed to hear today. Um, and I will have a quote from a very, very inspirational favorite person in my life that I met only once. And in that 1 hour, 2 hours that I listened to him speak, he did change my life. And one of the things he said is, we only grow strong in the crucible of adversity. A crucible is where they purify gold and they burn off the dross, anything but that which is pure. And yes, thank you, and thank you, Diane. I'm glad she's okay too. Oh my goodness gracious me. Well, I thank you for being here with me, and I hope that by sharing myself and my journey, I can help you on yours. Sometime tomorrow, we will probably be doing Life on the Light side, but I really, really think 4 o'clock is in no way going to work. It seems like everybody wants to make their reservations then. And to those of you who are wondering what happened to our Rise of the False Gods, we never finished it. I know we are. We're going to. I'm not. I'm going to do one final. I'm going to do one final, but I have to kind of adjust to the pace of um, of life now that we're getting beyond COVID. All right, guys. A good night to you. God bless you. Thank you for being with me. And have a snoozy, wonderful night and a bright, beautiful tomorrow. And I just pray knowing we'll be able to get together and talk about life on the light side. And I'm going to tell you about my asparagus soup. You got to hear about that because tomorrow we're talking about that and we're talking about umami. I can hardly wait. Have a great day and God bless you.